You know, his lightning kept assaulting me from all directions, manageable, not to mention he himself was moved at an unbelievable speed. Each of his swings carried so much raw power they split the ground asunder, littering the athletics field with cave-ins. There was just no room for me to do anything. If lightning was his only strength, I could just go on the offensive and not let him use it. If he was just incredibly fast, I could probably figure out a way to catch him. If he was just insanely strong, I'd simply have to keep dodging him. But I simply don't know what I'm supposed to do against a thing that combined all these strengths. The thing exhibited incredible strength and speed, while being able to fight at the close range and from distance with equal skill. This damn freak was like an updated version of Wilhelm, an all-rounder that surpassed even that psycho vampire in pretty much everything. And if that was the death, being that he didn't feel pain and could twist his joints however he wanted, ignoring the fundamental workings of human anatomy. Just when I thought I dodged one of his strikes, his elbow joint turned in reverse and that swing came right back at me from the other direction, staggering in between the giant lump of metal Cain's own body. I felt like I was caught in an oversized jackknife. And then that lightning. You need to... You know, creation figment, dude. My consciousness grew dim. The sheer amount of lightning I absorbed during our fight had made my body feel numb. I could feel the chill of death down my spine. There was little I could do. I was planning to give up, but the sheer strength of the thing, plus the lack of any weaknesses to exploit, had filled me with near palpable despair. I put my life on the line, gave my all, but no matter how hard I tried, willpower alone wouldn't let me move a mountain. Inside the hazy landscape of impending death, drowning out even the rumble of lightning, all I could still hear was the voice of death already dead. It sounded like a wail, like a howl, like a whisper. If, in my state of near death, it took me several moments to comprehend the meaning of the words coming from behind that mask. The thing spoke in a voice that carried the pain and lamentation of death. It demanded to know both my and his own identity, as well as the nature of the place where we both waged our battle. Why would a long-dead Rife ask me, on the verge of death myself, such questions? How about the undead freak introduce himself first? I initially thought him to be a mere puppet to Serlisa, yet even after her death and Drusaka letting go of his strings, the thing still roamed the world of the living. He moved, fought, and now even talked. Could that thing even see me? What did he even think was going on around him? Another crack ran along the mask. With Serlisa dead, her after but the death mask began falling apart. What did those blind eyes, hidden behind the faceless mask, see? The moment the giant uttered those words, okay, calm down, I will show you the way. His body and weapon both transported to purple lightning. His whole, like the herald of death, sentenced from the god of thunder himself, made the night air tremble. Should have told that what I just said, man. His unbelievable feet sent the voltage of the area shoot through the roof. I could feel my blood actually starting to boil in my veins from the electric shock. I was done for. I couldn't possibly withstand the insanity for more than a few seconds. I had to gain some distance and do something. Anything. So what if I tried to run? He had returned himself into lightning. How am I supposed to run a thing like that? Even if I could get out of these shockers, he'd catch up to me in less than a second. And what if he somehow allowed me to escape? What would there be left for me to do after that? What would be the point? I will show you the way, man. Just calm down a bit. I mean, don't attack me. His voice rang like that A baneful demon trembling from raw malice and unbridled fury, erupting into curses and contempt. The giant's entire frame was seething with rage, the kind not even death would allow him to forget. It had turned into a demon in every sense of the word. If I ran and left the beasts to rage in this place, how many thousands of people would it slaughter before coming to a halt? Just like back at the club, or at school. All those people, some innocent, other guilty of crimes the law could very much handle, would be torn to pieces by a raving dead giant for no reason whatsoever. My blood came to a boil, not due to electrocution this time, but the rage welling to the cellars of my heart. My entire being was seething with indignation. I had no idea what this thing was so furious about, but unfortunately for him I was about to wrap myself. I could still move, I could still find back, I wouldn't relent, and I'd kick this freak's ass to kingdom come, to protect the innocent, to avenge those already slain. I had friends among them, I couldn't even remember their faces. But if there was one thing I could do for them, if there was one thing I could do to atone for their deaths, it was to put an end to the raging beast that slaughtered them. That was all I could do. Casting aside appearances and pride, I held him like a rabid dog. I wouldn't die like this, I couldn't allow it. I knew I was no match for him in terms of strength or speed, but I wouldn't back down from this just because it seemed impossible. There has to be a way. Wilhelm's Knight of Bloodstained Roses, Rusalska's Nachtzelda, and Kain's transformation into lightning. They all create realms adhering their rules to rules that serve their purposes. A domain of their own. One imagined a realm of vampires, another shadow whose touch was lethal, and the third believed himself to be lightning. To crave, to wish, to create, that was likely the third stage of epic kite. If so, then what kind of world would I crave for? You know, the beach of eternal twilight flashed in my mind, a realm forever standing in place, forever frozen in time, the prison of time that the beheaded girl had been cast to. I suddenly felt Cain release me. With my limbs having been drained of strength, I ended up collapsing to my knees. Everything in the world looked crimson. Did a capillary burst in my eye? Or did the whole place really turn to a literal bloodbath before I knew it? I had no idea, and it mattered little. My body was a mess of burned flesh and gaping wounds. I was surprised it could still move. And so I stood up and turned around. Tubal Cain remained motionless with a ridiculously large lump of iron resting on his shoulder. I needed to master every last ounce of strength I had to put an end to this fight. I couldn't tell why the freak son decided to let me go when he already had me in the palm of his hand, but that didn't matter now. Well, what if you just, you know, activated the epic kite? Out of all the other cycles, this one slaughtered the most people in front of me. An unwanted intruder that laid waste to my peaceful day-to-day life. An undead abomination whose very existence made my skin crawl. Regardless what divine intervention might occur, I could never find common ground with that dead freak. I considered him a mortal enemy in a sense. Had he been more than a puppet, I might not have felt this way. Just like there were no people who would get angry at the steel of a knife, I too might have even found the thing worthy of pity. However, okay, it wasn't you after all. But he was no puppet. The thing simply acted as one, masquerading as a dead body. Inside he boiled with contempt more livid than anything I'd ever seen. Elvin cries, an undead, a demon that had been shackled to or perhaps clung to his own volition, to the world of the living in the midst of his rancor. A being completely different from Mari, another of the dead. Unlike her, this monster could die. However, some psycho thought it a brilliant idea to bring it back and keep him in this constant state of insanity. No, I'm not! The sheer senselessness of his question made me wrapped in anger. I held back at the thing, placing a hand on the guillotine on my right arm. Couldn't the damn freak sense her? She'd never had a place for herself when she was alive, and never found one ever after death, even after death. The pitch of Tranot Willat was both her sole respite and the cage keeping her prisoner. To be at a standstill in a world dominated by repeat and recurrence. That might have indeed sounded like an idea personally could yearn for, but she, who had been singled out by Mercurius, entrapped in an instrument of murder, and wielded by a fool like me, then forced to fight an abomination like this guy. Even still, she harbored not a shred of anger or resentment in her heart. Could this dead freak comprehend the tragedy of it all? No, a resentful wife. Like he never could. Therefore, what it meant to halt in time, to get stuck in the world of eternal standstill, I'd show the freak so he could carry that knowledge back to his grave. I wished for time so to halt. I held the strands of time in my hands, separated them from the core, and stretched them as thin as I could. Seconds would turn to minutes, minutes into hours. I'd keep decapitating the time itself, till even lightning came to a halt. In the end, I granted the ultimate standstill. Death. The concentrated lighting at his shoulder seemed like it could explode at any minute now. Not less, I stood my ground, surrounded by whitish purple at all angles. If he could speak, he should at least have named. Tubal Cain, after all, was merely the label of a dead puppet. His whole body, now a visual of deadly lightning, the very incarnation of the executioner Indra himself, suddenly exploded, covering an even larger area than before with unprecedented swiftness and ferocity. And amidst that heaven-splitting roar, Beatrice? Something. The thing's name had been drowned out by all the noise. Nor did I hear the name of its forthcoming card. Okay, not Beatrice for sure. God. Are you? Oh, you've got to be shitting me! So she's part of him. The night of bloodstained roses crowded to nothingness, returning to the nether from which it came, the opening of the fifth swastika summoned the new souls in the realm. One wild as whirlwind, one impassive as steel, Albedo and Ningredo. After an intermission of 61 years, the two could finally bend their souls into shape, leaving the castle to embark upon the world of the living. The maddened hound danced in exultation. Voracious beyond imagination, his all-devouring soul trembled with jubilation as it entered its new shape. He'd kill them all, he'd devour every single one of them. Hrovetnir, of giant jaws and vicious fame, devouring earth and sky, fell out to spread his bane, a whirlwind no obstacle would ever face, swallowing all that dared meet his gaze. Ah, the whole of the Gjallar horn pierced the night sky. Valkyries danced in radiant dye. The hour of Ragnarok, the end of all life drew nigh. Close, oh so close, he could smell it with his nose. And so it was about time for the Einherjar as well to answer the call of their eternal bell. This would be the last time he had to hold back. It was his final threat of patience, yet one that would ultimately lead him to devour and ravage with far more intensity than before. Even for his shackles, Gleipnir had already fallen apart. Okay, don't tell me that's the crazy bastard from the very beginning of the game. Gold, carrying supremacy, eclipsing all other things divine, still retained the strength to bind him. And so, for this one occasion, he would allow that substitute, that false gleam, to hold his leash. For not for long. May all the living hear the rabbit hound's piercing call, and lament its true significance. The fake would have Wolfgang Schreiber stay his hand, a foolhardy hope, If there ever was one, the beast could even sense malice in that very aspiration. Praise your loyal mood, Lord Heydrich. He would prove that his respect and loyalty to the one being capable of defeating him exceeded even his pride, that it allowed him to endure the infernal humiliation of serving makeshift god of a substitute. Therefore, okay, yeah, that's that bastard, that crazy kid. Manifesting out of thin air, Wolfgang Schreiber placed his hand on the delicate shoulder of a girl still not entirely liberated from her brief spell of confusion. Winning pandas mingling with bloodlust on the brink of eruption, the boy made an innocent smile, his cherubic mask of an expression veiling malice that could rival the cataclysm of a nuclear reactor's meltdown. Say what? All sounds grew silent as the very air itself froze over. Even the incoming bolt of lightning seemed to halt in place. This was my world, my creation, the manifestation of my craving to slow the perception of time. From the outside it might have looked like I had gained in speed, and that was true in a way. After all, in that very moment, I exceeded even the lightning speed of their macabre dance. However, my own senses couldn't keep up with the sudden discrepancy between the flow of time within myself and the world. I couldn't tell if I hit Cain or if my attack had proven fatal. I couldn't tell if the roar had escaped my lips was a cheer of triumph or merely a gasp of pain, and I couldn't even detect the smell of blood in the air. Did I emerge victorious? Did I defeat him with this? I had no way of confirming, yet before I could even begin to dwell upon it, my world, the eternal and everlasting moment, had been shattered to pieces by a fist of incredible density. All my senses had been forced to return to normal. I didn't ever fully release my hold on the realm I had created. Hell, I didn't even know how to do that. And as a result, Tubal Cain was still alive. My desperate swing only succeeded at shattering the thing's mask. Ew! Rippling dry, shriveled skin. Giant face resembled that of a mummy. His eyes so shut to block out all light. Fluttering its bare teeth, Cain made an attempt to form words. Instead of content inspired, his voice seemed to echo with grief, like the trembling voice of a scared, humiliated child. A mysterious new name left his lips. A heavy stolen voice echoed across the night. At the same time, the space separating me and the monster twisted into a rift, revealing a shadow of a man. A soul of awe-inspiring density from another world. Like a beam of light through a lens, the shadow, a burning hole through the fold of reality, took on a more concrete shape. A magnificent frame clad in jet black army uniform. A man of perfect physique and a good head taller than me, though notably shorter than Cain. His well-oiled muscles were notable even under his several layers of clothes. Flexible as a whip, sturdy as steel, he was the savior of David come alive, the ideal body of man. He was a masterpiece of war and carnage fashioned into human form. The hell was... Did the dead freak just call him Machina? He fixed a pair of dim eyes on me, their hollow gaze, like that of a dead fish, creating sharp contrast with the sheer magnificence of his frame, as well as the heavy, imposing atmosphere he exuded. The voice of the great captain rang like an iron hammer. Eh? Oh. A gasp of reverence left Trifa's lips as he, protected by the safety of the roof, beheld this somber night descending upon the mortal realm. Who the hell did he call brother? The priest's words, unbefitting his otherwise unmistakable, cryptic and just in nature, rang with absolute and genuine honesty.
城はいかがでしたかな？苦しく待たれましたか？御身の夢は今そこに。ああ、しかしその行き着く果ては無限の旅愁。あなたは変わらず終われない。
Who the hell was that brother he was talking about?
当然だろう。
A smile momentarily graced Eleanor's lips, but unlike the celebrating priest, her voice retained its coolness and solemnity.
エインフェリアは解放されん。変化を望み、流転を求め、終わりを祈るがゆえの渇望だ。変われぬからこそ恋願う。ルーンはラーグに、でなくば、マキナなどと呼ばれはせぬさ。
確かに。
Smiling, the priest narrowed his eyes into slits, with Kay shivering in his arms. Valeria Trifa, Eleanor von Wittenberg, Wolfgang Schreiber, and Gotts von Berlichingen. Kay found herself completely paralyzed, her soul overwhelmed by the awesome power, madness, and pain emanating from the four demigods. I feel nothing, to be honest. I guess, if that can be said, maybe. I believe so. She was scared, wishing from the bottom of her heart to flee in terror. She couldn't comprehend their conversation. A voice in her head whispered that it was for the best. Just moments before, she thought of the obsidian round table as a place she belonged to, her home. Yet now, she couldn't help but view it as a trap. A ponderous box populated only by vile monsters.
ともあれ、マキナ教がおいでくださった以上、後顧の憂いはありません。騒がしくなる前に引き上げましょう。ついてはレオンハルト。
His face was a mask of benevolence, the unmistakable image of a loving father addressing his daughter, and yet...
あなたの仕事は終わりました。最後のスワスチカが開くまで、お好きなようになさりなさい。
In case ears the words rang like a death sentence.
後のことは我々が。あなたは座して待てばよい。夢叶うその時まで。
Whoa. And with that dark blessing on his lips, the priest lowered Kay to the ground and marched off into darkness without so much as turning around. Wait, please wait, she's still... What of him?
ではザミエル卿、私は去らせていただきますのでご随意に。
ああ。だが一つ聞こうか。五色の再編、本当に機能するのであろうな。私とベイを一緒にせぬ方が貴様のためだぞ。
もちろんあなたにお教えした件のこと、あれも真実だったでしょう。それにそも。
She answered Eleanor's cold voice with a delighted curl of the lips.
私の技を疑うことは、すなわちハイドリヒ教の技を疑うこと。恐れ多くもあの方がその程度のことできぬわけがありますまい。そう、あなたの忠誠が60年ごときで揺らがぬのと同じようにね。
ゲスめが抜かすものだ。
Their conversation receiving the descent, Trifan gave her card bow. Then resumed his guide. Kay, for it might have been a mere figment of her imagination, could have sworn she spotted someone else clinging to his umbrella just before he disappeared into the darkness for good. Still, she seemed to shake off her past mat in the next moment.
貴様、桜井というらしいな。
Eleanor seemingly decided to remain for one longer turn to face Kay, and with that the latter beheld the full visage of the Crimson Knightess with her own eyes for the first time.
話はおおむね聞いている。随分とまたクリストフの趣味に付き合わされて育ったようだ。
A towering figure easily putting the average man to shame, coupled with vermilion hair fluttering the wind, unveiling a face half burned. She hadn't seen a more frightful person in her life. Seriously, look at Cain, god damn it. The fact that she originally must have been quite a beauty just made her current state all the more terrifying. For Kay, looking her straight in the eye proved to toil in itself. Not to mention that her facial expression, sharp as the blade of a sword, carried a refinement of sorts. She must have been of noble birth, raised between the circles of upper class, as difficult as that may have been to believe.
まあそれはいい。私についてどんな風評を受けていたかは預かり知らんが、少なくとも血統を重んじる人種ならば評価はする。ベイを前にして折れなかった気概も見事だ。クリストフが言ったように、貴様の仕事はもう終わった。我が君、ハイドリヒ卿は虚言を浪さぬ。願いは成就したと安堵している。
ですが、それは。
She finally managed to force her mouth open. Eleanor might have meant her no harm, but simply being in her presence wore Kay down tremendously.
あなたもゲイかも。私はもう必要ないと。
見ろ。
Eleanor made no answer, and instead began a soliloquy of tone as if to imply the girl's words meant nothing to her.
血族を愛おしむのは結構だ。複製ゆえに清掃の進化が歪み、今はあのような無様なデクに過ぎぬがな。いずれ本物として蘇る。貴様の望みはそれであろう。もしくは己の順番が回ってくるまでに型をつけたかったというだけか。何にせよことほご、貴様らは名誉アーリア人とやらの身で、我々を除く8名中最も早く獣の祝福を約束されたわけだからな。
Eleanor didn't look at Kay. She simply gazed down at the athletics field in distance with a smile on her face.
貴様もだ、キルヒアイゼン。敗者復活など本来ならありえんぞ。ブレンナーに感謝しておけ。
What was she talking about? And who exactly was she addressing?
エインフェリアは蘇る。バルキュリアに導かれ、ラグナロクを行く不滅のレギオン。永遠に、永劫に、無限に蘇り無限に戦う。そう。
Eleanor considered Kay for the first time. Over her eyes retained the glimmer of arrogance that reflected no sarcasm of or belittlement. She was indeed trying to bestow honest praise upon Kay. Fate that bordered on madness. In ironclad loyalty that allowed for not a shred of doubt. It seemed as if she truly believed that the only thing to matter in the whole of the cosmos was the blessing of her lord.
貴様らは我々と同じものになるのだよ。
Not interested, Sia. Out of nowhere, she voiced something that sounded nearly incomprehensible to Kay. Something inside her shattered. She could feel everything that defined her as a person begin to crumble and die. The scent of those gentle hands embracing her when she felt scared by lightning as a little girl. The pleasant ring of his voice as he read books to her when she couldn't sleep. She still treasured the wooden sword she begged and cried to have as a kid. The sensation of gripping its hilt, the touch of his fingers as they stroked her hair. All irreplaceable treasures without exception.
獣のたてがみ、そしてそうが、不死を望む者、死者の復活を願う者、皆ハイドリヒ教の一部となれば全てが叶う。
All she ever wanted was to reclaim the warmth of those days.
バルハラへようこそ、レオンハルト。名誉に震え、歓喜に泣け。貴様らには、獣の祝福が約束された。
Eleanor, her laughter slowly echoing far and wide, turned to a fiery gust of wind before vanishing from Kay's sight. The girl, having been left alone, could know nothing but tremble as she struggled to even breathe. Her mind and body froze, refusing to acknowledge reality, trying desperately to take shelter in ignorance. Kay felt that unless she did, her mind would irrevocably crumble, never to heal. It couldn't be. Impossible. She chose not to see a thing, decided not to hear a thing. She was too dumb to even comprehend what the woman said anyway. She simply couldn't make it out. She leaned against the fence, grasping it. I'm pretty sure she said father. Another translation. No, that's not the word, damn it. What's the thing that, you know, someone says part of the word, but you are capable of saying what that word actually is in full? I really have no idea what you call that, but that's what I'm doing here. Anyway, she leaned against the fence, grasping its cold steel frame with her fingers. She only wished to see them again. And she did her best. She tried to so hard, did everything she could do. She endured pain and hardship, ready and willing to go through anything too. That made her insensitive to the pain of others, and she, in her foolishness, mistook it for her inner strength. And so she made a boy so similar to her suffer. Had she been mistaken? Was she still just a foolish child herself? She could do nothing but muster a faint apology, feeling utterly lost and confused. Wishing to once again bask in the warmth of those days, to be at their side again, was wrong for her to harbor such a dream? Was it really such a strange wish? Was it something bad, something to be condemned, as Fuji had said? Had it been wrong of her to even entertain the idea? She had learned of a way to make that wish come true, and she put her life on the line for it. To return to life as an irae, to be part of the immortal legion of Ragnarok, the man and fangs of the beast, to keep on resurrecting ceaselessly without limit, to repeat battle after battle for all time to come, to endlessly wretch the fate of fallen warriors. She hated war. She had the pain too. All she ever wanted was to enjoy days of peace with the two she held dear. She wanted nothing to do with the war. She didn't wish to become a ray fueled by strife. If she alone was cursed to shoulder that fate, it would still be fine, but to condemn those two as well. To force him to battle for eternity, even in death. For the two she loved were just gentle, perfectly normal people. She fell in love with them for that same reason. And yet... Was she too late? Was there anything she could do? How could she possibly repent for seeing this grave? She could see three shadows below her in the athletics field. First, an irae clad in obsidian. Second, another man, one whose life she, in her foolishness, turned into a living hell. And finally, choking on tears, father of course. Choking on tears, Kay was unable to even master her own voice, unable to even call out the name of the man she held so dear. She knew herself to be far beyond forgiveness, far beyond redemption. Yet she still couldn't help bear the pain, couldn't help praying for someone to save her. The two she hoped to save, the two she ended up condemning to a cursed fate. But Richard Kirchhei's end. She cried out the name of the other man, a slave forced to wage war, even death. All she wished for was to leave the shackles of his curse, to set him free. Yet to liberate him from the curse of the false lands meant condemning him to slavery under the rule of the real one, to force upon him the blessing of the beast. A prison that would chain him forever, Valhalla. To them Kay must have been a herald of death, a Valkyrie. Their thought filled her with a torrent of sadness, frustration and misery. I fucked up! It wasn't father, it was brother! Nobody could ever possibly feel love for a miserable wretch like her ever again. I couldn't help adapting my ears. Spots as fuck on the roof, covered in wounds and generally in terrible shape. She called out her brother, her voice trembling from tears. That moment of confusion paralyzed both my body and mind. Cain's electromagnetic dance of death caught up to me, served me right for spinning out the middle of battle like an idiot. It was too late. I had not activated my creation figment, nor was I sure if it would even work, and there was simply no way for me to dodge his purple lightning at this point. You could say it was a complete fluke that I managed to pull that off, and that my defeat was set the moment I failed to deliver a mortal blow to the thing back when I had the chance. Even worse, I realized what Sakurai was crying about over there. You'd have to be pretty damn not to in this situation. There were only 3 people here, and I sure as hell wasn't her brother. Then we had Cain flying at me in the form of a purple bolt of lightning. And Gotz von Berlichingen, a German who had been one of Reinhardt's Imperial Guard these past 60 years. He was a less likely candidate to be Sakurai's brother than even myself. In other words... Ouch! I was at a loss of words, having been assailed by 2 shocking revelations at once. The first was the only one who could possibly be Sakurai's brother was Tubal Cain. The other... Well, this was the incredible strength of the man who seemed to have taken Cain out in a single hit. The words left my mouth out of their own volition. I knew better than one how much of a beast Cain was, having just fought a battle to the death with him. Transforming his whole being into raging thunder, he moved at the speed of lightning and could split mountains apart with a single swing. And this man took him out with one punch. One Punch Man! No, it's not him, unfortunately. I tapped my own eyes. Were they pulling some kind of trick on me? Cain seemed to have gone silent. I had no idea what those men's fists were made of. Anyway, I'm looking forward to second season of One Punch Man. But they easily split lightning apart, returning Cain to his normal self of flesh and bone and rendering him immobile with a single punch. A mortal strike, an attack that ended all confrontations with a fist to lower the current on the battle. Machina. I could hear Sakurai shouting something else from the roof, but I couldn't make it out, and frankly I wasn't in a position to listen to her now. I was more than interested in listening to her story and learning about her familial ties to his dead freak, but I couldn't afford to look away from the other man. I had a gut feeling that if I so much as missed a single one of his movements, he'd send me to an early grave in an instant. Yo! Berlichingen silently regarded me with Cain lying motionless at his feet. He appeared to be sizing me up, or at least that was what I had gathered as I looked into his dead, hollow eyes. And... he suddenly addressed me. Thanks! His voice was heavy and booming, its tone seemingly plagued by constant pain and suffering. At that moment, the guillotine abruptly disappeared from my right arm. I wasn't the one who dismissed it. Heck, I didn't have the guts to stand in front of a guy like that unarmed. But then, why on earth did my weapon betray me in this crucial moment? He lifted Cain's humongous frame with such ease it could make one believe that giant was filled with feathers. I guess that he must have been tied by some very strict creators behind his mask of indifference. I could sense an almost torturous wish to fight and destroy me. Not wanting to provoke him, I instead stared absent-mindedly at his back as it melted into the darkness. Holy shit! Well, the daddies himself are on the earth! The next moment the skies above the school returned to normal. The night of blood-stained roses had shattered. The sun blinded me as its rays abruptly peeked down from beyond the veil of darkness. My legs gave out, sending me onto the ground. The man disappeared without trace, together with Cain. So in the other words... my body was a complete mess. It was a miracle I still drew breath. My failure to defeat Cain was frustrating for sure, not to mention the fact that an even stronger guy appeared to have entered the picture as well. But at least I managed to pull through with my life. I could have been worse. Plus, I managed to learn something new during my fight with Cain. The third stage of any kind. I still wasn't entirely sure how it worked, but once I learned how to properly wield it, its power would no doubt come in handy during battle. I won't direct brag or make light of the situation, but it did seem like I had finally discovered a trump card that might very well get me through this hell in one piece. And it was all thanks to her.
ありがとう、マリー。聞いてるか？おい、どうしたんだ？出てこいよ。
To disturb my Mary's lack of response, I tried once again to form her.
レン君
When I spotted Honjo dashing through the athlete's fields towards me.
よかった。無事。ってわけでもなさそうだけど、とりあえずは平気みたいね。
Yeah! Good to see you.
見ての通り、なんとかな。
You need to treat me.
うん。頑張ったんだね、男の子。で、私の方はと。おーい、ちょっとほら、早くっていうか、足遅い。日頃運動してんの先輩。
Yeah, I know who you are talking about. I could see the delicate frame of Kimura slowly advancing towards us through Honjo's tracks. Ah, she tripped.
あっちゃー。ダメだりゃ。
I don't think we went with the Rouse route, right? Pretty sure I went with Case route. Ah, well, previously I was also, like, mistaken somehow, and we went actually correctly. Anyway, she could say that again. Putting aside for...
お前ら、無事でよかったよ。
Well, we don't know that yet, right? Maybe Rusalka did something with it. The school had turned to a real battlefield and nest of demons. It had been worth putting my life on line if it meant those two could get out unharmed. Still,
なあ、本庄。
I tried looking in the distance behind Humor's back, searching for another shadow advancing towards us, but ultimately spotted no one. Weren't we missing a person? Shouldn't there have been another guy advancing through these tracks towards me right now? Someone who ultimately erupted into violent outbursts, leveling whole dictionaries worth of curse at me? I'd been waiting for that to happen.
ごめん。
Honjo's expression turned uncharacteristically grim.
私、かすみちゃんを見つけられなかった。それに。
And there was a certain other person I couldn't get out of my head.
聞いてよ、レン君。私も確証はないんだけど、多分あの子。
A woman looking down at me from the roof, her body littered with wounds all over, revealing even my injuries. I couldn't quite make her out all as well from distance, not to mention being occupied by my battle with Cain, but she did appear to be crying up there. In this moment, the woman I'd always considered hollow and irritating beyond imitation looked heart-wrenchingly fragile, like she was literally wasting away before my eyes. Or I might have just been seeing things after having my head hit one too many times in the void.
ってわけで。ねえ、レン君。本当に聞いてる？
He is not. I wasn't. I had no idea what she was talking about. I lost sight of Sakura's silhouette on the roof. As such, I said it must have been an illusion, the result of strained very mind. And so was whatever Honjo had just said. If I look harder, I expect to eventually spot good old Witsumi hanging upside down from one of those trees like an oversized monkey. The situation demanded some form of comic relief, the kind only she could grant us, right?
ねえ。
ああ、わかってる。
No, he isn't! I wish I was better at escaping from reality.
とりあえず、憶測で話してても仕方ない。少なくともお前と先輩は無事だったんだし、贅沢は言わないさ。
うん。
He did not listen, right?
でも、レン君。
You really asked he did not listen.
なんだよ。
いや、わかった。一旦戻ろう。
そうだな。今は休まないとやばい。
I bet Honjo could see right through my little act anyway. She didn't say anything though, and simply played along with me.
肩貸そうか？
悪い。頼む。
藤井君、私も。
じゃあ、先輩もお願い。
And so, allowing my broken body to be supported by the curse, I had no choice but to enter our base, all the while being tormented by frustration and anger intense enough to burn a hole in my chest. If we tried going after them right now, they'd probably kill us in a heartbeat. After all, they were veterans of war, and a good commander knew when to retreat, or however that saying went, okay? How would I know? I couldn't expose these two to any more danger. Hell, we're lucky we have survived the night.
畜生、両手に花だな。
Lucky!
なんで畜生なのよ。
Exactly, lucky bastard.
照れ隠し。
まあ、そんなようなもんです。
There were simply too many good women around me in my life. Yeah, lucky bastard. And so I wasn't going to lose even a single one of them. I had to do something about her. And yeah, well, you're lucky, goddammit. All of them are basically single. I had to work maybe with one, well, a few beauties, but all of them are married. God damn it. The rest, well, I'm not interested in. Mostly issue of character. Anyway, just then I came to realize what the problem was with that statement. The presence of an exception to my well-defined listing of relationships. What was I supposed to do with Sakurai? Who knows? We know that episode ended and also the chapter. Okay. So Bay, Spinner, and Lisa dead. Okay, and a lot of people are down. Wait, 12 out of 13? So who else is missing? Aside from, you know, the golden boy. Trostana, God, Sonic King, Hrodi something. That guy is freaking Hungarian for sure. Babylon, Leonhard, Kaziklu, Rote, Samuel, Christoph, Tubal, Malaus. Unless, after all, number 2. So, what was his name? Carl, I think. You know who I'm talking about, the, you know, magician. I think, you know, the one that our Zarathustra replaced. He's probably not counted in here at all, and that would mean, yeah, that might mean that that's why, because that way it will be 14, I guess. Well, whatever. Let's not go there. Swastika 5 out of 8. Chapter 9, Eine Her Yar End. Anyway, chapter ended. I'm definitely dividing it into a few episodes. Maybe even 3. I will see about it yet. For now, hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully see you tomorrow in the next episode. We'll see where this is going in this world. Hope you enjoyed it. See you then. Bye bye.